You see it magnified in your performance tenfolds. This thing on? Good. Awesome. All right, guys. Welcome back to the Actors Abyss. We talk about a whole bunch of shit about acting. Just whatever the fuck I feel like talking about. So today we're going to talk about the work. A lot of people are not doing the work, and it's getting really frustrating. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Now, I'm not perfect by any means, but there is like actors. If you're an actor watching this, bro, you've really got to spend the hours. You're being lazy. Come on. A lot of you are doing a lot of nothing, bro, and it's not cool. Y'all come to my place to do your auditions, and I'm just like, you're going to present that to a casting director? You sure? They'll come with this script, they'll come with sides with your scenes, with nothing on them. None of mine have nothing on them. Oh, actually I do. For example, if you come to my, to do your audition and yours just look like this, nothing on them, just you highlighted your lines and maybe you memorized your shit, what are you doing? And they'll go, oh, I memorized my lines and, I did some background story. Okay. And I get it. Because the work is so much time consuming, and sometimes you have only 2-3 days to do it, or sometimes you have 48 hours to turn around. And when I feel like when people say that shit, you're just throwing excuses left and right. Because the moment you get your assignments, okay, get it. Maybe you're at work and you get off at 8 and it's 2 p.m. and then you got to be back to work. Fine. But when you get off at work, you dead ass can put 4 hours into your shit. You don't. But you could. And the work gotta be yo, you gotta have your shit looking and I got 4 lines for this. There's a lot of things that I do for the work, and we're gonna get that into the next video. Be looking wild, disrespectful. And this is just what's on this paper. That has nothing to do with things I put on postcards, shit. I get it. It takes mad time, but I'm telling you, and I've done this with a lot of other actors that I've worked with. If we go to classes or something, and you'll see the difference. When you do this kind of professional work, you do the difference. You see the difference, You see it magnified in your performance tenfolds. This is this old adage that says, you do all the work, then you forget it. People have this concept that's weird, or maybe that's hard to do, or I don't get that feeling. There isn't a feeling. There isn't a concept. It just is. You do all the work in the background, you do all this noting and all this stuff, color code, whatever, however your style is, you do all that. And then when you get to audition, or when you're going to get on set and do your part, I have something in my eye, I'm sorry guys. And you do your part, all you then have to do is just know your lines at that point. Because the work is inside you. And the reason a lot of actors don't trust that, they don't trust doing the work and having it inside them, is because they don't do the work. You don't do the work. So of course you don't feel comfortable doing or trusting that feeling of doing the work and forgetting it. Or maybe you've done this once or twice and maybe 3 times, and then you kind of fizzled out. Or maybe you had a class that made you taught you some things, and then you kind of fizzled out. I know a lot of students that go to classes and then 3 months after they left the class, they don't apply what they've learned. Or they'll do 1/10 of what they learned. Oh, I'm gonna do this one thing I learned in this class. Well, why don't you do all 10 things? Oh, it's time consuming. So consume your time with it. What's the problem with that? I tell people all this time, you want to get paid millions of dollars for this, as an actor? Perform like you're getting paid $1 million. If you come to my place to do your audition and all you did was memorize your lines, I'm sorry, but I don't want to pay you $1 million for nothing. I don't want to pay you $5 for that. If you come here, memorized your lines, maybe you've bullshitted. You've added some. Oh, I'm gonna emote anger here. I'm gonna emote some slyness. I'm gonna touch my hair, and then here I'll just turn back and say these words like this. If that's kind of your setup, and I'm not insulting you. Please don't take this as an insult. Take this as a fucking advice. That's not worth $20,000 for a gig, $50,000 for a gig, $80,000 for a gig. You know what I'm saying? That's worth me looking at your tape and going, that's as much as I'm going to pay you for that, to look at it at best. If you do that, the most I can pay you is to look at your tape. That's it. But when you put like 8 hours into your shit, and here's the thing, let's say you put 20 hours into this one audition with 4 lines that I have, and I got these notes, and I do a couple of things. It's not just, there's a lot of things that I do for the work, and we're gonna get that into the next video. There's like I feel like it's a clip bait. We get the next video. But let's say you do that 20 hours for like one of these things, right? You only got 48 hours, and you spent fucking every day in and day out the next 2 days for this, and you don't get the gig. You're gonna be discouraged. And let's say you do it again next audition, you spend 20 hours, you don't get the gig, you're gonna be discouraged. Fuck. You do this 6 more times, right? So now that's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 120 hours into 6 auditions that you didn't get nothing. You're pissed. But here's 2 things that happens, and this is, I truthfully will promise you what does happen. 1, the compound effect. The more you do something, the easier it becomes. Now, you don't have to spend 20 hours to do this. You can do the same thing you do in 20 hours in 10 hours. So you've gotten better at it. 1. 2, when you do get the gig, they're going to see all those hours in your performance. They're going to see all 120 hours, all 250 plus hours, all 500 hours. They're going to see it because you've built such a technique with such intense work that it's undeniable that, yo, my man, you good. Yo, here's this. Can you do this tomorrow? Yeah, you do it. You come back. Man, it's just fire. How you fire? How you dumb good with this? I do the work. Nah, for real. What's the trick? No tricks. I literally do the work. Yeah, but what is the work? What is the work? I got you.